A2KSVQR. Going to talk about flanks. Now, when an artillery piece or a battle line marker gets to fire into the flank, in the flank range, the number is tripled, multiplied by 3. If it's cavalry, it's multiplied by 2, I believe. But we're going to cover flank fire. 23.0. A battle line marker which occupies a hex that exposes one or both flanks to enemy fire may receive a special type of fire termed flank fire. There are 2 requirements to determine flank fire. The target marker must be in the firing unit's range of influence, the ROI. The hex occupied by the firing unit must be in the flank field of the target marker. Flank fire may be utilized during the artillery fire phase, the combat fire phase, or the combat assault phase. Each cannon utilizing flank fire during the artillery fire phase is tripled in number, times 3. Each strength point utilizing flank fire against an adjacent marker during the combat fire phase, again, is tripled in strength, times 3. A marker which has undergone flank fire during the combat fire phase cannot perform an assault that turn. No marker, unless it has been named to attack, can ever move in such a way that it would expose a flank to enemy fire in any hex it enters during its move. And considering flank fire, there's a possibility that a flank could be in the air, which simply means that there is no tapered end. It's just the straight battle line marker, and there is no flank marker to cover its right or left echelon. Any combat strength that is free to fire at any hex, as explained in the fire combat procedure, which fires at a flank marker which has one flank in the air, in other words, one of its flank hexes is unoccupied by any battery or brigade marker, friendly or unfriendly, has its strength doubled, if not already in its flank hex. A defending battle line marker may temporarily separate itself from its brigade in order to advance into an enemy flank. In other words, a marker can temporarily break brigade integrity and continuity at the end of the combat fire phase, and before any assaults are begun, it must return to its original position. Strength points for a flank hex is 4. It can go no higher. So let's talk about this. Let's look at the union. This flank is 4, and this flank is 4. Now, during battle, let's say this flank gets reduced to 1. And this flank, let's say it gets reduced to 2. Now the Union needs at least 4 in order to fire. So it has to do something. In order to make this 4, we'll have to take one of these markers and break it up. And also for this one. So remove this marker, which is 8. Divide it by 2, which gives 4 apiece. And we're going to beef this up. So we'll use 2 out of this 4. So 4 comes in. This will break this down to 2. This adds up. And becomes a 4. So now we have a total of 6 left for this marker. It breaks it up into 2. And then we break this up and it becomes a 3. Which will give this flank into a 4. We now have a marker with just 3. So we get rid of this marker and we take the 3 and we can place it anywhere to beef up. So I'm going to move this in. And I will beat this up with 3 extra points. And I'll put it underneath to let me know that it is a bonus of 3, not the remainder of 3 for the unit's strength. And it continues and it continues. Of course, the line is going to get shorter and shorter and shorter. Okay, let's say that the Confederate CSA has lost all 4 points. And this has been reduced to 2. This unit can break itself up to 4 and 4. It can then give 4 to this unit, and the flank is back. It can then take this 4 and put it underneath and supplement as 4 extra strength points, and the line shortens up. And it continues and continues. This marker needs to sacrifice 2. To get the flank back. So it takes its 2, puts it in, and that becomes a 4. Which will give this marker 6. This marker can collect the 6 and still stay in battle, while this marker, who has an excess of 4, can break it down to 2 as a bonus. And that'll give that marker the strength of 8. And it goes on and on and on. Now, when they're talking about the defender being able to move out of continuity of the battle line and attacking the flank, it's not as difficult as it seems, because it has to return after it's done firing at the flank. Basically, I choose this marker with the excess of 3, and I put it on top of this marker, and I then fire on this flank. And once I'm done with that, and let's say 4 is reduced to 1, this marker returns back to its line. Of course, the attacker has to do something about his flank. He's only got 1 left. So we take the excess of 2, we put it here, which gives it 3. And then the line becomes whole again, although it's shortened up. And it goes on and on and on. Now when you get a flank in the air, that means basically this, just as you see it. This marker has no artillery, and it has no left echelon flank formation to cover it. It has its flank in the air. Which means flank fire can occur into here, which is multiplied by 3. Which will probably most likely cause it to dissolve. And then they're reduced to this. And that's pretty much what I understand of flanks. Keep gaming.